So essentially we're recording, we've got some hyperdecks down there that are acting like our camera sources, and they're being routed into our ATEM, and then those streams are being recorded by these hyperdecks into our CloudStorm Max. You don't have to use a CloudStorm Max, that's just our network storage drive. So then Resolve connects to the CloudStorm Max.
Okay, I understand.
So that's our CloudStorm Max there. All those files are being recorded into their own separate ISO folder.
In real time.
So they're currently being recorded too.
Okay.
And then Resolve can import those files into the media pool. So Resolve now has the ability to monitor, write to files that are still being, read and write files that are still being written to. So we can import those files. We know these files are growing because they have this little record indicator in the top right hand. And every now and then you'll also see the playhead shift ever so slightly to the left because new frames are being added onto the end of that file. So that file is constantly growing. Resolve will check that file about twice a second and import any new frames that it's found in that time. So the latency between what is live and what Resolve can access is very, very small.
Yeah.
So essentially, I've only imported 4 of the camera angles that we're recording, just because some of the cameras are of, the audience and angles that we wouldn't necessarily use for replay. And then I can view them in this multi-source viewer. So the multi-source viewer will look at all the media that I have available in my media pool, and then also look at time code. And any files that it finds that has matching time code, it'll align it in a 4-way grid for me. So for instance, if I was to import a couple more cameras, maybe camera 5 and camera 6. Now if I go into multi-source, I'll see 6 camera angles instead because they're from the same recording, they've got the same time code.
Okay.
But again, I might not necessarily want those angles, so I'll just remove them from my... And I can just go back to the 4 angles. So another button that we have is the go to end button. So that will take my playhead and put it at the very, very end of my available source media. So it's a good way to know when I press go to end, I'm seeing what is very, very close to being live, like, a second after what has played live. But we also have the input view. So if I press input view, I'm actually now getting a live feed from the ATEM into Resolve, so I can properly monitor what is happening live right now. So as the replay operator, I would watch this view probably and wait for something interesting to happen. So it looks like they're about to do some sort of
Coming out 3.
face off.
Yeah. Coming out 3, I guess.
Cool. And then what I've done now is I've hit spacebar, or you can also press the set POI button, which is setting a point of interest.
Okay.
And essentially what that does is it'll snapshot the time code at that moment, switch me back to multi-source, and then place a marker on the frame where that time code intersects. So that I can very quickly scroll back a little bit just to give me a little bit of lead up. I think camera 2 looks good. I'm already on camera 2, but I can go into camera 2. And then I can run my replay whenever the director says we're ready to go. These are just some stingers that we've created. They're just RGBA clips that you import into the media pool like any other clip.
Yeah, I understand.
But then we have this auto stinger palette. So if you open the auto stinger palette, you can drag and drop stingers in.
Wow.
Go back here. And then whatever stinger is selected is the stinger that will play out at the start and at the end of a replay. So let's go back here. So if the director says, yep, we're ready to do a replay, then I would just hit run. Then I'll start the replay from where my playhead position is. Camera 2 wasn't great. I can also do a live ramp down with speed to get down to like 50%. You can also switch angles. If I want to go back and see the same moment of interest but from a different camera angle, then I can hold down like a duration key and then switch camera angles. I'll just go back up to real time. This time I want to go 3 seconds before the POI, but from camera 1. So if you keep doing that, you can re-cue the same moment, but from different angles. over and over again. There's a cut in the footage because we actually cut together just sections of the ice hockey so that we got the interesting sections. So that's the cut that you're seeing there. And then when I'm finished, I can press dump and it'll play the stinger and then go back to live view and come out of the replay.
Amazing.
So something else that just happened was I had the add to timeline toggle enabled. So when you have that enabled, if you do a replay from the viewer, Resolve will actually remember all the edit actions that you did between pressing run and pressing dump, and then add those clips, including any speed reps you did, into a new timeline for you. It's a really good way to save your replays that you've done so that you can access them again later to make a highlights package or to just clean stuff up, add some music, you know, get it out to social media, whatever you might be doing. So we can switch to the timeline and scroll around. It scrolls a little bit laggy on this. We can trim clips now that we're here. We can also go back to the start of the timeline and we can run the timeline as the replay. So if you don't have to do everything very quickly live and you've got the time to actually create your own timeline, you can run that as a replay as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.